No! No! You! But I want to. Here we are. I'm Marilyn Harris.
And I'm Percy Smith.
And this is Victoriously Crazy Podcast. What are we doing today?
I think it's Victoriously Crazy Sleepover at Sikowitz.
I've been calling it Sikowitz.
You were on the show and you don't know.
I'm an actor. I just, if you don't tell me a certain way, Yeah. But I never had to say his name. I just basically screamed in his face. Think about that.
He loved it.
Yeah.
He really did like it.
And that's what this whole episode is about. Explaining what I did on that episode as Andre's grandma.
Yeah.
How it all played out, what I did, what I didn't do, which is act normal. But just like we normally do on these podcasts, we're going to start out with questions from the grand fans.
Yeah.
So, you ready to quiz me?
I am.
You ready for my answers?
Oh, boy.
Does your character ever act normal, by the way?
I don't think so.
The character? No.
Maybe when she was in the restroom, but I could see her screaming at toilet paper.
Yeah.
Only before she lost her mind was she normal.
Only before she lost her mind.
Yeah.
And only family knows that secret.
Yeah. That's why they put up with her, because they know that how she was before.
No, I think it's because she's got a fat bank account.
Yeah, that too.
Hey, I think it'd be a great spinoff, Andre's grandma before she lost her mind.
Yeah.
It probably would be.
It would be.
She'd be shopping at the Gap buying camouflage.
Yeah.
Still a little kooky, but
I know.
not...
Tolerable.
They'd be like, that girl loves camouflage.
Yeah, why?
I know.
She's trying to let us know that something's going to go down.
Yeah, what does she know?
Yeah.
All right, ready for the questions?
Yes. Oh, you want to start?
Okay. Dude!
All right. The real Sinjin.
Okay.
What was your favorite of the characters the main cast played during the episode? If you could have added anything, what would it be?
I have to say my favorite that the cast put on as characters was Liz Gillis. Did I say her name right?
Gillies.
Gillies.
See, there you go again.
Liz's character. She played the Southern girl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when she burned her hand and she said, I love the smell of my burning flesh. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, it was.
But I think I would have liked to seen her get violent with the pan. She just dropped it. She could have just held it up and kicked it or something.
Yeah.
Anything that burned me, it's getting some pain. I'm bringing the pain.
Yeah, but it wasn't the pan fault.
It wasn't.
You know,
it was Sikowitz's fault.
Should have told her. He was like he wanted her to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a kind of a sneaky payback because he always called her a bitter taste or
bitter
something.
Taste of something.
He always had nicknames for her that weren't too cool.
A bitter taste of candy or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's a candy, it's like a candy, like a sweet and sour candy.
Yeah, yeah. So, she could have at least grabbed one of them cookies and ran out with it or whatever it was that was baking.
With her hand burnt like that, she wasn't grabbing nothing.
Grandma would have grabbed it. She would have just ducked her head down, got it in the teeth.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Really? Grandma was that crazy?
Pain motivates her.
All right.
Okay, what's the next
second
question?
Pain motivates. All right, anyway, the second question is from Star. What was your favorite part about filming the Sleepover episode?
My favorite part, believe it or not, was having that bat on my lap when Andre made the phone call to me. I thought that was so funny that she's sitting there chilling in her house with a baseball bat on her lap.
Mm.
I don't know anybody unless you like Kershaw or something, who sits around at home with a baseball bat on their lap.
I think somebody that making sure whoever comes in know if you're going to come in, something could happen.
Home run.
Yeah, you act up, something could happen.
She said, my wood is good. I got something for it.
All right, be careful with that. All right, children.
I'm talking about a bat.
You're talking about
a bat.
Okay, from a tree.
Yeah. That was my favorite part. I felt that was funny.
All right.
Okay.
The next question is from Adam Loper.
Hi, Adam.
Hey. Were you and Andre talking on the phone when he was pretending to be pregnant?
No, Adam, that was movie imagination. I film my scenes separately. They give you beats. Think in your head, 1 beat, 2 beat. You know, like when you're on the phone with someone, you're listening to what they say, you respond, and that's basically how phone conversation goes. So
Wow.
you just put in the pauses at the right moment. She basically was like, "Why are you talking to me like that? What's going on?" Where? And she had to get up, put on her little jean jacket, and go on over there and find out
Okay, what's going on?
what
with
was
her
going on.
grandson,
I wasn't talking to him on the phone. I was just doing some excellent acting.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes, that's it.
That's a good answer.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let
That'll
people
always
know.
be my answer.
Yeah, let people
Excellent
know how it
acting.
Because I always thought when I watch shows that I see people like on the phone, I actually thought that they were talking to each other.
You know
For
what?
a
They're
long
not.
time, 'cause I never
Acting
did a
has a
scene.
budget. They're not going to pay somebody to be on the phone.
Okay,
Use your acting skills.
that's right.
And I did.
Listen to Grandma.
Yeah.
Because she is crazy.
In a good way.
In a good way. She's been around a long time, so she know a lot of stuff.
But if you see my back up.
Back up. Matter of fact, don't even come in the house.
I know, just stay out.
Just look through the screen, be like, okay, I'll
you
be
go.
back, and
She's
never
got that
come
back.
back. She got
Okay.
that back. Okay, number 4 is Amelia Pretorius. Oh, I love that name.
It sounds like Victorious almost. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, whose improv character was your favorite, and what was your favorite line of theirs?
You know what? I think I kind of answered that question before, because it's still going to be Liz. She was my favorite. I liked the line about her skin burning. I actually thought that Tori did a really good job as the police officer.
Oh yeah, she did.
She did a great job, and Ariana was great as the, what was it, a DJ or a comedian or something, or
A
what
very
was it?
annoying 1980s stand-up comedian.
Yeah, and she played that well.
Yeah,
She
girl.
was very
That
annoying.
girl was good.
Hello.
I know. And she had her own little mic and all her whole hookup on her body.
Like,
I
no.
was like, who
So-
does that?
Anybody, a person that even goes to the store and they start doing stand up, go to the restaurant, they get.
It's
wherever
like
she-
you're trapped with her
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, I think she probably was the favorite, because I have done stand up and she was kind of on point
Yeah.
with that annoying thing, because some stand up, you think it's funny, but it's not really funny, but you got to try it out. And if you're in the elevator, what better place, you know?
Yeah, you got a captive audience.
They
right?
can't get away. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, next question.
All right. The number 5 is Hannah Shear.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like that last name.
I know, right? I wonder why. Compared to other episodes you film, how strange or odd did you find the writing or storyline for Sleepover at Sikowitz?
Sikowitz.
There I go. I always try to blame
Think
you.
psycho,
Psycho.
and he's wit.
And he's witty.
Psycho.
Yeah, right?
That's how I locked it in.
Wow. I'm locked in now.
Yeah. Compared to other episodes I've filmed, I did not find it strange at all. As a matter of fact, I found it to have a thread of reality to it, because they do teach you improv when you attend an acting class or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never taken any acting classes. I learned how to act by trying to get myself out of a whooping from my mama.
Considering you were the middle child.
I act like I did not do it.
Okay.
I act like I didn't know anything about it,
Mhm.
and I act like my brothers or sisters did.
Yeah.
That-
Two boys ahead of you and 2 girls behind you.
I was
right?
in the middle, so I was able
Wow.
to observe, and I knew their weak points, and I didn't mind using it to my advantage. So that's all
Now-
improv is, acting like you're somebody else in
Yeah.
a different situation. That whole episode was about improv.
Yeah.
It was all about taking on a persona totally different
Mhm.
than you, and making that persona work and staying in that persona no matter what happens.
That's right.
So basically, I thought it had a thread of reality to it. wrapped up in humor, and also just wrapped up in the outrageous, like the burnt hand, and Sikowitz acting like he fell through a window to get Robbie upset and break character.
Yeah. And considering it was a performing arts school, that was some a learning experience for them all.
It was.
Yeah.
And you learn more by doing
Yes.
than listening. So I found it to be a very creative part of writing by Dan, because you want the funny, but you also want a lesson. That's, if you look at most TV programming, especially for younger people, there's usually a lesson wrapped up in there some kind of way.
Yeah, so you want the funny, but you want the real too.
You want the real, and you want the lesson.
Dig it.
And the lesson is if you have a goal that you're trying to achieve, at least I felt that's what the lesson was, is that you stick with that, and you don't let anything take you off that track. You use your focus. You laser focus.
That's the key word. Focus.
So that's how. I didn't think it was strange, odd. I thought it was. I thought it was real, and I thought it was a lesson wrapped up in it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer, Grandma.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're awesome.
Well, hey.
Brownie points.
Tell me something that I need to hear.
No. Tell her something she need to know.
Every day. Every day. Okay, we're going to talk about my experience on the show from beginning to end.
Okay, do it.
We already covered part of it with the phone call that alarmed me enough for me to put the bat down, put on my little denim jacket, and rush over to the teacher's house.
Dig it.
Grandma knew exactly where he was. She didn't know what he was doing, but she knew he was at Sikowitz's house. So she went over there. The interesting part about this episode is it was my first time doing stunt work. When I knocked on the door, there was a mattress right outside the door. I was to scream in his face, turn, and leap, and land on that mattress for the effect of funny.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're like, are you okay? Are you okay with that? And I was like, yeah. I felt like it was something I could add to my resume. And who doesn't want to just leap on a big mattress?
Yeah. It was a nice, comfy mattress.
Oh, it was big.
Okay, cool.
I kind of wanted to ask him what brand was that?
What brand was that mattress?
This was what, like 2010 or 11 or whatever. And I was in my late 50s, and they had never seen an older lady like me that was so willing to do the crazy, that was not concerned about hurting myself or anything. I trusted them completely. I felt like they wouldn't ask me to do something that I would get hurt. And it was just more about the physicality of it. And they were wondering if I was down with it, and
capable.
I was. Yeah, and capable.
Yeah.
Because
only you know.
Yeah. Only you know if you can physically do it. Only you know if you have a artificial hip. You know? And you'd be like, nah, I can't do that right now. But I was in good physical shape. I had no problem.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because I leaped on to the mattress. I leaped back in front of the door. I screamed again, where's my grandson? And if you look at the episode again, Eric almost broke character.
Yeah.
He almost laughed. He's not here.
He did. They kept it.
Yeah, and they kept it because it was a natural response. What else you gonna do? An old black lady leaping back and forth.
Yeah.
Talk about where my grandson.
Okay.
He not here. I see him right there.
My favorite line in that was that, who did that to you?
Oh, the pregnant. Not how did you get pregnant? Because you're a man.
Who did it?
What hussy got you pregnant?
Like the incapability of it is
know,
amazing.
but
Grandma
that's so crazy.
was crazy.
She didn't be like, oh my God, my grandson's pregnant. How on earth did that happen?
How possibly could that? She was like, who did it?
Who you been sleeping with?
In an innocent Nickelodeon way.
I know.
Yeah, she meant
because there were secret codes in that show.
Yeah, she meant it, man. That was funny.
She meant it. It's like I thought I had done under control. And if I didn't, I wish I had given you some rubbers. Yeah, I said it.
And another funny part about it to me was when you left, you could hear the screeching of the car, which means you drove over there. So you're
Yeah.
not really that crazy.
I was going straight to the drugstore.
But I mean, you were able to drive.
Oh, I could drive.
Nobody ever think about it. If you were crazy as you were, what are you doing driving, man?
Have you ever seen Reality? There are a lot of crazy people. I think I just saw a blind man driving once. There's crazy.
How did you know he was blind?
Saw Stevie because it was Stevie Wonder, man.
Because it was Stevie Wonder. No.
It's like, wait a minute.
No. Just the whole script itself that she was wondering who did that.
Yeah.
But I love the spin that I did with Beck when he came up to me as an English character.
Yeah.
And I just kind of did the shove around and spin around.
Yeah, because he was all over you. He was like very touchy.
And he was in character, and I do not touch my skin.
No, man, you can't.
Grandma don't play that.
I like the way you spinned out of it and you kind of pushed him away. Like,
yeah, I was honed in.
You honed in.
I was honed in on my grandson.
So when you did all that, did they tell you to do it like that, or you just did it like that?
That was all Marilyn.
Wow.
Yeah. I figured she's crazy, so there's going to be a spin somewhere.
You got out of that smooth, man.
Yeah. And, have you ever, been in line at the grocery store?
Yeah.
And you know how they have all those goods and stuff for you to get the candy, the gum, and you kind of spin. You're not losing your space in line.
Yeah,
you're going to do a spin. You're going to snag what you want and spin right back and boom, put it on the counter.
Yeah.
It was that kind of move.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was good.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of funny that I was able to do that and then drag him out and tell him you're in trouble. Well, dude's pregnant. He's already in trouble.
Man.
Yeah.
That's like, man. I mean, but you never considered that they're just they're acting. That's what's the funniest thing.
I know.
You never once considered, you actually thought that, wait a minute, you left the house.
Not pregnant.
And now you are. Who did that?
And you're a dude.
I know.
You're a dude. But she didn't consider.
I never addressed the fact that he was a pregnant man.
Yeah.
I just want to know who knocked up my baby.
Okay.
It's mind blowing.
That's grandma.
But that's the comedy.
Yeah, that was grandma.
That's the comedy of it, and it was at Sikowitz house.
Sikowitz. I got it.
It was Psycho, and he was Witsit.
Yeah, he was Witsit.
He was Witsit. Yeah, that was basically it. I mean, my scene, it wasn't that involved. The scene at me at home with the bat and taking the phone call. I don't like the conversation we're having. I decide I need to go over there, confront him.
Yeah, find out what's going on. But I did leave out an important part because, Eric, the teacher, Sikowitz says, "Oh, we're in a pickle." And that's where that famous line came from. I don't eat pickles, or I don't like pickles, or something about pickles. And he's like, what is this lady? I didn't say offer you no pickles or nothing. He used that word and all he thought about how they taste and smell.
Yeah, but I just zoned in on pickles and I told him I don't eat pickles or I don't like pickles. I have to go back and look at it, but I know the word don't and pickles went together. Do you remember?
You repeated the line when we had Darsan Solomon on the show, who played Burf. If you guys want to check out that episode, when you acted out with him, we had a whole pickle skit, and you said, "I don't eat pickles."
Yeah, so it must have been I don't eat pickles. Yeah, because we had pickles stuck on a long barbecue fork coming at me. I remember that. Yeah, that was a good podcast with Burf. That dude can eat all kind of stuff with no problem.
Bell peppers.
Yeah.
I mean, I like bell peppers in recipes, but just
spaghetti or lasagna or something. But
he was serious.
Yeah, I would equate that with biting an onion. But I digress.
Yeah.
The line "I don't eat pickles" came out of that episode. Who did that? Spinning around all that. It was a fun episode to film.
Yeah, you need a T-shirt. Get a T-shirt.
What would I put on it?
I don't eat pickles. And have the pickle like, what?
Or who did that? And you could have me like. So yeah, that was basically it. Yeah,
that was
good times.
Is it okay if I ask a few questions?
Absolutely.
So Victorious would air episodes out of order that they filmed them, and you talked a lot about how in the pilot, in the first episode that we did of the podcast, you were only booked for one episode.
That's
So
true.
this is the next episode that you filmed after the pilot, and Wi-Fi in the Sky, where you punch the computer, aired before it, but you filmed Sleepover at Sikowitz, I believe, is your second episode.
Yes.
So you book Victorious. You think you're doing one episode. At what point do you actually find out that you're coming back for a second? Because you probably filmed the pilot and thought, I'm never doing this show again, right? When
Yes.
did you get the call? How soon before you actually film it are you like, oh, I'm coming back, I'm doing more?
I was so new to acting that whenever they called and asked me to come back, I would just go back. I never looked beyond that one moment or what that moment meant. And my job was so understanding. I had a job. I was working at a law office at the time. After doing a pilot, I understood that it took more than my lunch hour to do it. You know?
I'll be back.
I tell him I may be 30 minutes late, but
30 hours.
Yeah, it was a long process.
Yeah, and little did they know.
Yeah, but people are so enamored of the whole acting thing.
Yeah.
That they were just so happy that I was able to do this.
Yeah,
that
for
they
sure.
would. I had lots of time because I hardly ever worked. Percy could attest to that. I always was working. I never ever took time off. So I had time to take a day off or half a day or whatever. And, I would keep them updated. They like being part of the loop. So I never really knew when they were going to call me. They never told me how popular the character were.
Never.
The director never told me.
Yeah.
No one told me anything, but I knew Dan was very, very nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he would, I would go into this thing when he would come over and tell me what the scene was about and what he wanted me to do. I would be listening like this. He knew I was zoned in to what he was telling me and what he wanted. And I would give it to him on the first take.
Yeah.
They would take other takes for positioning, like maybe the side of my head, the back of my head, or something like that. But it was never about me not knowing a line or anything, because I have always felt that proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Wow.
I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I got that line from a guy in prison.
Say, pump your brakes, man. Pump your brakes.
I used to write prisoners.
Oh, okay.
As part of the prison ministry.
Oh, okay.
And when he wrote that in a letter to me, I was thinking, this is really cool, but I wonder why he's in prison. He didn't follow his own advice, but
Well, he didn't figure that out until he got
he had
in.
time to think about it. So,
Lots of time.
lots of time. So I approached acting in a very analytical way.
Yeah.
When I signed with Percy's agent, which is the whole story I covered in the first podcast, how I became an actress is because Percy kept asking for a year.
Yeah.
And I finally signed with his agent, and then this happened really fast with, after we, made a change of agents, because the first agent stole my checks. But I digress. But I went to the library and I got books that had the acting terms and what acting is about and all that. I actually did research on acting, and I just I felt the most important thing was to know the script. So I would have the script totally memorized. They could ask me anything in between.
Yeah, out of order. Sometimes they do that.
And they do that sometimes. They'll say, go back to one, or can you pick up in the middle or whatever. It was easy for this character because she was basically one-liners. And basically it was the physicality and emotion that was brought to it. And I was able to do that. I was just able to do it from recalling family members, past experiences, crazy lady you saw at the grocery store. I mean, there's so many ways. If somebody asks you to imitate a road rage driver,
California, you know how to do that.
You know how to do that. We've all had that experience. Yeah. So you would have the hands on the wheel and the eyes bugging, and you would figure that out, and you would just spice it up. Acting is taking it to a level way beyond, because it has to translate past the lens into your living room or onto a movie screen. So I tell people, it's like, if you want to know how to act, apply for a game show. They want to see enthusiasm times a million. And if you could show that and show energy, show excitement, that's who they want as a contestant, because they want you to be able to show how happy you are and how involved you are. So to answer your question, no, I did not know I was coming back. I did not know how popular the character was. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was totally dedicated to being the best at what I was doing.
You were a natural.
I was a natural.
You were a natural.
And that's what that coach said, the acting coach.
Yeah, you had an acting coach that told you that. He didn't have to take much time with you because he saw something that was like, it was obvious.
I followed instruction well. I think that's a big part at being good at anything you do is following instruction well.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. And you read a lot, so that helped you too.
That did help.
Yeah. And I noticed the best way to remember scripts and lines are to say them out loud.
Yes.
Yeah. Go to a park if you can't do it at home, or somewhere where no one can hear you, and say them out loud.
And have an idea of how you want to present it.
Yeah.
Because they may ask you, do you have anything else? If you get locked into doing something one way, just like Eric Betts mentioned in his podcast, if they ask you to do something one way, they have an interest in you. They want to, but they want to see if you have more than one dimension, one way of acting.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's that.
You did.
That was a good question.
Well, so you were prepared. I mean, that's what's amazing about it. I'm still curious if you were surprised when you're at your job and you're in this routine of being like, I filmed a TV show, but now it's back to work. And then they say, well, yeah, we would love for you to just continue with this character. So getting that call, were you surprised or was it just like, let's do it?
It was more like, let's do it. And if you look at the way the episodes are numbered, I think they just threw Andre's grandma in after maybe 5 or 6 episodes had aired. I was surprised when Matt Bennett said they did 60 episodes. I had no idea. I just focused on what I had to do. And I think Andre's grandma character was someone they would toss in there to keep the crazy alive, to keep it, them focused on it, the kids focused on it. If you get too much of it, it's not as funny. That's my opinion. So I think they were very strategic about the way they spaced it out. Yeah. If you look at the seasons and how she was spaced out as far as when she would appear. Because she would always bring the crazy, and it was always in a different type of way. In some episodes where you didn't even actually see me, she was referenced, where they would have me talk loud on the phone, and Beck would say, turn it off speakerphone. And Andre would be like, she's not on speakerphone, because she was so loud and boisterous and that type of thing. So that was the running joke, is his grandma's crazy and she's loud and, all that type of stuff. Like even in Bad Roommate, where Andre couldn't create a song without his Andre interrupting and yelling and all that. And they had Tori put on, a robe and soap up her hair and all that and yell at him so he could click into his creative mode, because he was used to that environment. That's what he lived with. That's what he dealt with.
And I think what happened is that the response from the fans, they go by that.
Yes.
Especially now, it's so easy for people to respond like instantly if they like something or if they don't like it. They kept getting responses from the kids, that they like grandma.
You could think you would have the best character going, and if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. And sometimes it's that obscure person, like the guy that did the character. Did I do that?
Yeah, he
was booked for one show,
one episode. Urkel. He was booked for one episode.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you said response, I know how you said, how did you respond? You know why you respond? You respond with joy.
Yes.
You're happy.
Another acting paycheck.
Yeah, especially when you get paid and see how much they pay you.
For one day.
And they want you to come back.
It was a lot of money, Bennett. I think it was almost $1,000.
Yeah, for one day.
For one day.
Yeah.
You earn it. Believe me, you earn it. But it depends on what the scene involves or whatever, because Nickelodeon is very methodical about the way they do things. Table read, 3 run-throughs, the third one in front of the executives in case they want something changed, and then you film. Now, depending on how long the episode is or whatever, it could take all day or it could take hours.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends. And with that character, with her being so off kilter and so crazy, it's not like she's going to be up discussing anything important. She's going to be there screaming and running out, basically. But if I felt if I'm getting paid this much money, of course I'm going to be here all day. The bigger actors, I think, may have had an option of coming in.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
when
they
it was
do
time
that.
for them to film or whatever. But you had a dressing room, which was like a little apartment almost.
Oh man, you have a shower,
TV,
you have a little refrigerator,
couch,
TV. It was like
and they had food. They feed you.
They always have.
They
food,
had somebody that will hold your drink and actually put the straw over your mouth if you were that type of person. Yeah.
Was that you talked about that in the first episode? Is that for all cast, like guest stars too?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Wow. Everyone.
Yeah,
everyone that they call a principal. In acting, they call them main characters, or they call them talent, first of all, which I think it kind of messes with some people's heads.
Yeah, and then you're the principal character.
Yeah, I'm the talent.
Some people
Where's
really
are
caught up on that.
Yeah.
And then when you're a principal, that means, like if you see a commercial and they have two people talking,
yes,
they're the principals.
Yes.
And then you'll see some people in the background talking, but you don't hear what they say.
Yeah, their background. You may just see the back of their heads.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
They have some people come in and film, and when your background, they're not prominently displayed in the commercial. They won't say anything. They may walk by, or you may see the back of their heads, or something like that. And then the principal are the ones that you see their face. They have the lines of they're really involved in the production of whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
So
and while shooting, they'll have different angles. And some of the angles, the person in the background, they say, oh, we want to see what this person looked like. That happened to me in a video. They had me face the camera right in my face. They had me pulling my pants up.
Yeah.
They had me to the side. We want to know who
different
you are.
angles.
And then when I saw the video, all I saw was my hand zipping a dress.
They pump you up.
All I saw was my hand.
They make you feel like you're like so important.
Yeah, like
but the decisions are made in the editing room.
Yeah.
That's where they decide what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And since editing is such a crucial part of filmmaking, they're going to have all the angles that they can think of to make sure everything's covered.
And they have to fit it in within a certain time frame.
Yes.
They have to fit everything in. If something doesn't fit, they'll throw it out.
Yes.
Like when I did Two Broke Girls, they had a guy who worked in a pawn shop, and he was really good, man. Oh, this guy was a seasoned actor. He did his whole thing, and it didn't fit within that episode, and they cut him out.
He probably told his family to watch it.
Oh, I'm going to be on two. And they don't tell you when they do that.
Lean back, honey. Make sure your head's cut off.
Yeah, they don't tell you when they do that. So you have people watching. That's why I never tell anybody that I shot this.
Yeah. I think about in Sleepover at Sikowitz, the question that was asked about the scene you had with Andre over the phone. And, they build a separate set because they probably in like a tiny corner somewhere, and they built a little thing to make it look like you were in a house, and it's just a little set.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just had a chair and a lamp and a bat on my lap, and then you see how tight the focus is.
Right.
It was just like in the corner of the studio.
Yeah.
And they told me what my lines are. I had them memorized, put some beats in between like you're actually on the phone. And they have you do it different ways. And then they even had me film jumping up and running out, but they didn't show that. Because it's all about a time constraint also. So you don't want to have film of an action that's going to lengthen what it is you're trying to do, because you do have so many minutes to work with when you're working on an episode. You have to consider commercial breaks and all that kind of stuff as well. So but they got every base covered. Just in case they need it, it's there.
And when you have a spot to stand on, they have a person, their job is to take a piece of chalk and mark down on the ground.
That's your mark.
And that's your mark, and that's all they do.
You don't move past that.
It's crazy.
Because you'll be out of camera range. And if you're sitting, you don't stand up. You're out of camera range.
Yeah, I did that one time. I messed up, man. They said, this guy.
It's very technical.
They
yeah,
have like
because they
a-
walk around with rolls of duct tape on. They
Yeah.
have like a tool belt
Yeah, it's
with
like
all different
MacGyver.
colored duct tape.
Yeah, they look like MacGyver.
Yeah,
with
and they have
everything.
chalk.
Yeah.
Where they could put a mark, and it's crazy.
Put tape down, and they actually have carpenters on set.
They build whatever they need.
Yeah, and it was a lot where everything was shot in this particular lot.
On that lot, the school was there.
Everything was there.
every
So
scene
when they
came
showed
up
them
with.
sitting outside on a bench, that was just where they had lunch at. So they shot it there.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to go to another studio to do anything. Everything was shot
Everything
on that
was
lot.
on that
And
studio.
those carpenters, man, those guys
They
were
were
amazing.
The Carpenters, I think. Here's a fun fact: Harrison Ford, the well-known actor, was a carpenter at a studio.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was
wow.
discovered working there,
Yeah, he was.
and he was so good-looking. Somebody said we should cast him in
Yeah.
something. Terry Crews.
Mm.
You know, the guy that's always with the muscles and the popping breasts and stuff. He was a security guard on a studio lot.
He was working as security.
He was working as a security guard. He was always so personable.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah.
He worked security, and Bruce Willis saw him and figured, hey, man, let's put him in this movie and blah, blah, blah.
And you have actor in you, and you don't even know until someone come up. Just like you may have player in you, and you don't know till you see the right girl.
Oh my
You'd be
God.
like, put on that player
Yeah,
hat, and
you're
you
like,
slide
I
up there.
got to be. I got
Ain't
to
that how
get
you got
that.
Lorraine?
Oh.
Yay.
There's so many on Victorious. There's so many. Oh gosh, now I'm all blushy. There's so many like even minor characters on Victorious who are crew members because they work on the set, and I don't know if it's Dan or whoever that decides. There's he's a lead set dresser, the person that I guess picks out, I don't know if it's props or what the sets look like, who was in 2 episodes at Nozu, the sushi restaurant, as one of the cooks. His name's Nae Leao, and he played a sushi chef named Kwaku. And it makes me wonder if he was part of the involvement of the process of decorating Andre's grandma's house, or maybe even getting the bat. A set dresser, I think, is the person who decides what goes in the picture.
They design what's in the picture.
Yeah.
You could be like spot on with that. I do know that one thing about the whole Victorious experience is that they were good at using what they had at hand.
Mhm.
So why put out a casting call for an actor to play a worker in a sushi restaurant when you have catering, or you have this person or this crew member, and if they're willing to do it, because a lot of time people behind the scenes feel like they could do that as well. They feel like, oh, I could play that role. I could do this or that. But nobody ever asked them. And I think that's what made Dan Schneider unique, is that he was able to recognize when a character was a good character and someone that they wanted to bring back. Or I think he was open to giving the opportunity to someone that worked on crew or worked on casting or worked on catering or something, if they were willing to do it. That saves in the trouble of casting.
Save money too.
Yeah. Money and
and
the
time.
process of casting can take time. And if you're in the middle of, if you have a vision, because entertainment is all about vision, and you want to keep it moving forward, what's a faster way to do it than to just pull someone out already part of the studio family and have them do it?
Yeah, it's a
You know.
family.
It is a family.
And everybody was nice,
Very nice.
and helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, even they knew I wasn't on the cast. It didn't matter.
Yeah, they didn't mind
treated
Percy
everybody
being
the
there. They
same.
treated everyone the same. Yeah.
Everybody was focused on their business.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, Jennifer Carta, Tori's mom, even mentioned that, she would watch your scenes in Sleepover at Sikowitz because she and Jim Puri, who played Tori's dad, and the whole cast, after the kids got kicked out of the improv, they all went to the parents' house to watch that sad movie that they found hilarious.
Yeah.
And they're like, why are you laughing? This is
Yeah.
a tragedy.
They were trying to have a date night, and,
That was
and then
funny.
they had picked this sad movie, and they thought it was funny.
Yeah, they trying to
Yeah.
be together.
Because it was a generational thing. They didn't see anything.
but
sad
they didn't
about it.
see that. They wanted to be alone, man.
Yeah, they wanted quality date night time.
Yeah, and they up there laughing and talking. And
Yeah,
it's
I would have
like-
kicked them out
I would have kicked
with a
them out.
bat.
Yeah, I would have been nice about it though.
Yeah,
Gave them some money.
I
bet
would've
if they
told the
gave them
truth.
some money,
I'm trying to get my get on.
I'd been
You know,
like-
you gotta
I
go
would have gave them like $50. Go see a movie.
or something.
They would have took it and left.
Yeah, go get some pizza or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Pizza and a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Cool.
remember her saying that she would watch other scenes when Jen didn't have scenes. She would go watch other actors, and she would watch you. She loved watching you run in to get pregnant Andre,
Yeah.
That's just one example. I mean, I'm sure there was so much camaraderie between you and the cast. You talked about with the pilot, but as I asked you about what it was like to come back for your second episode, I bet it felt so welcoming to come back and people would be like, "Oh my gosh, Marilyn, it's so great to see you again," and
It
to
did.
have
Yeah.
that community feel, right?
It was a great thing.
Yeah.
And they also, I never hid my love of the Lord, my relationship with God. So you're talking about people. So people would
Mm-hmm.
have issues. Someone would be sick, or someone would have a concern about something, and they'd say, Marilyn, would you pray for me? And I would always say, let's pray together. And so we would sit in the community room and we would just pray, and it became well known that I was a strong believer, and I'm very open to praying. I'm very open to discussing things with you. I don't gossip. I don't share secrets.
Mm-mm.
If you wanted to confide in me about something, they knew it would stop there. We could pray about whatever. It was like a family thing. I was like everybody's grandma without the
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And then I would flip into the acting, and people found that kind of amazing that I could do crazy so well, because it's so totally different than the type of person that I really am.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Most
that's
people,
acting.
most actors, that's
That's
exactly.
just it.
Yeah, because you have some that'll do a whole lot of talking and blah blah blah, but when the film isn't going, they don't hardly talk at all.
They're very quiet.
Yeah.
And, everybody's different.
Yeah, Evan was like that.
Yeah.
He-
Acting is an outlet for
Yeah,
them.
he was like very quiet
Very reserved.
and reserved.
hmm
You never really saw him open up and start talking. He was just cool, man.
Yeah, he was just
He was a
cool.
lot like his character.
Yeah,
His character was
That's
cool,
true.
and he just stayed cool.
that's
And
true.
Ariana, she was very nice. When we went to that party they
Yeah,
had,
she was hanging out
and
with us.
she was just sweet as she could be.
Yeah,
She
just
really
like
is a sweet
just
girl.
like Jen said, you would just feel like she was part of your family or your crew
Mhm.
or whatever. Just
Yeah.
a very open, very friendly person,
Mm-hmm.
open to hugs.
Oh,
Her mom the same way. They just, everyone has their own personality, and the thing you have to remember about acting is it all starts with a vision. Do you look like the character?
Yeah.
That's it. How's that, Bennett? Did that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
and more.
So we're going to explain this act out that we're going to do. I have a sleep mask. Those things you put over your eyes so block out all of the light and stuff and you go to sleep. Well, Andre's grandma thinks that it's an alien, that if she put it on her face, it's going to suck her brain out through her eyeballs. So before I do that, I want to remind you about Grand Fan Friday. This Friday, we're going to have Lydell Ellis. He's going to talk to us about his journey as an actor and whatever else is going on with him. He's a young man that's a fan of Victorious, and he has a lot to tell us about. He does skits and monologues and all kind of things, and he just recently signed an agent.
Wow.
But if you like this podcast that we did, make sure you subscribe wherever you are listening or watching. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Victoriously Crazy Podcast. Like, share, listen, do all those good things.
Yeah, you guys know how to
and
do
tell
it.
people you're doing it. Let people know we're out there, especially if you know Victorious fans, because we're finding people. I mean, we just had the panda.
Ooh, boy.
That was a great get, Bennett.
Yeah.
So much more than just me.
Yeah.
Crew, cast, pandas.
Mhm. A lot of things you didn't know, but probably wanted to know, huh?
Yeah, you'll find out here
That's right.
at Victoriously Crazy Podcast. So, Percy, you're going to stick this mask in my face. You're going to kind of depart. Oh,
Roll.
such a beautiful day. Wait. Why is there a back scratcher hand with a black thing that looks like a mask? Wait, don't get close to me. That's an alien. It's an alien. It wants to get over my eyeballs and suck out my brains. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. Oh my God. It looked like a flying saucer. It's black and got a string. There's a hand holding it. How did my back scratcher come to life and hook up with an alien? I can't win. Get it away. Oh, I need my brains. I'm not covering my eyes with something that look like a mask. Stop it!
And sing.